After offloading Air India in October last year, the government has now kicked off the process to sell its stakes in its subsidiaries which were not part of the deal. Air India has 4 subsidiaries, which are Air India Airport Services Limited or AIASL, Air India Engineering Services Limited or AIESL, Alliance Air Aviation Limited and Hotel Corporation of India Limited. And the process to offload AIASL and AIESL is on. The government is also moving ahead with the privatization of IDBI Bank. DIPAM Secretary Tuhin Kanta Pandey has confirmed it this month, saying that the department would soon invite preliminary bids. The government holds a 45.48% stake in the bank, while the Life Insurance Corporation of India, which is the promoter of the bank, owns a 49.24% stake. The government will also reportedly invite financial bids for the privatization of Bharat Earth Movers Limited in the December quarter. But notwithstanding these moves, the overall picture regarding the government's disinvestment plans looks gloomy. For the current financial year, the government has budgeted to raise 65,000 crore rupees from disinvestment. But even as half of the fiscal year is over, it has raised only about 25,000 crore rupees so far. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had proposed the privatization of 2 public sector banks in her 2021-22 budget speech. But the amendment to the banking laws, which would have enabled the government to offload its stakes, has not been passed so far. Also, a research paper in the August issue of the Reserve Bank of India Bulletin lauded the role of PSBs. It argued that big bang PSB privatization would not be a panacea. While clarifying later, the RBI said that a gradual approach, as announced by the centre, would result in a better outcome.
Presently, today, what they're looking at is technically at IDBI Bank, which is not considered to be a public sector bank. It's considered to be a private sector bank, owned primarily by the LIC. So I think there's a lot of talk, at least in the media, which one comes across about what they're going to do in terms of IDBI Bank, which is definitely a very, it's a large bank. It's doing very well right now. I think all the legacy issues have been taken care of. So to my mind, this could probably be the first experiment carried out by the government before they look at other public sector banks.
PSB privatization isn't the only area of concern. The government had planned to privatize PSUs like the Shipping Corp, Concor, Pawan Hans, BEML, Central Electronics Limited and others. In November 2019, the government put Bharat Petroleum Corporation or BPCL on the block. It had said that it would completely sell its 52.98% stake in the company. While the government received 3 tentative bids, it got only 1 financial bid from the Vedanta Group. This forced the government to shelve the plan in May 2022, pending a comprehensive review. Now, in September, Oil Minister Hardeep Singh Puri indicated that the much delayed BPCL privatization may not happen in the near future. Puri made it clear that there was no proposal whatsoever on his table for now. And earlier this year, the centre had announced the sale of Pawan Hans to a consortium. But the sale was scrapped later as questions of impropriety and non-payment of dues were raised about a company that was part of the consortium. The privatization of Central Electronics Limited may also be called off, and that of the Container Corporation of India Limited is yet to be initiated. In May, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved the sale of the government's entire remaining stake in Hindustan Zinc Limited, or HZL. The sale of the entire 29.5% stake is estimated to fetch 38,062 crore rupees. But this sale is also yet to go through, and the government is in the process of appointing financial and legal advisors who will see it through to its conclusion. All of this has raised the question, is the government going slow on privatization?
Probably given the state of the stock markets and the volatility which is there in the market, the government may have decided to go a bit slow in terms of further disinvestments during the course of the year. I would tend to think that they would definitely be pressured in terms of meeting this target of 65,000 crores, which is definitely more reasonable than what they had earlier when they had spoken of doing the LIC disinvestment. There could definitely be some kind of shortfall in terms of overall disinvestment, which to my mind could be, means the worst case scenario may be around 20,000 crores. But this will not really affect overall fiscal balances on the whole, primarily on account of the rather good buoyancy which we have witnessed in the revenue revenue collections, as well as the fact that our GDP is growing quite fast because of inflation, which means that the fiscal deficit ratio would be very much under control at 6.4%, even in case there is some slippage which takes place in terms of disinvestment.
The prevailing investment and economic atmosphere may have made the government go slow on privatization. But going ahead, every such decision will also have to face another headwind: the fast approaching 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Privatization has always been a politically sensitive topic, and thus there may be doubts about the government going in for any big ticket privatizations, especially of the two PSBs, during the remainder of its term.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.